Ladies and gents, something strange is happening in the housing market right now, and most people aren't noticing. Prices aren't just slowing down, they're dropping. In cities that were once thought untouchable, the numbers are shifting quietly, almost imperceptibly, but the implications are massive. From San Jose to Little Rock, Austin to Tulsa, new home prices are falling, some in double-digit year-over-year declines. Markets that seemed invincible are showing cracks, and the pattern suggests something deeper is unfolding. Across the country, the stories are eerily similar. People are willing to make sacrifices they never would have considered a decade ago, compromising personal safety, stretching budgets to the brink, just to get inside a home. 1 in 5 house hunters is already doing it, and it's not hard to understand why. The pandemic-era boom pushed prices to levels that are no longer sustainable. Mortgage rates climbed, inflation rose, and suddenly what seemed like a sure path to wealth has become a struggle to survive. And it's not just the United States, you guys. Across the Atlantic in the UK, estate agents are reporting the sharpest decline in home prices in a year. Cash buyers, once the lifeblood of speculation, are stepping back. Fears of tax hikes, stagnant wages, and an uncertain economic outlook are slowing markets that seemed unstoppable. The pattern is global. Cities built on decades of rising real estate are now starting to stumble. Now listen, if you guys want to take advantage of the current real estate market or any trends in any market for that matter, consider subscribing to the Deal Watch. It's our newsletter where we break down data and we even show you some flipping opportunities. It's completely free. All you get to do is click the link in the description below. Looking closer, the parallels are striking. In China, Evergrande's collapse left thousands of families trapped in unfinished homes, paying mortgages on properties that may never be completed. The ripple effects have lasted years. Speculation, debt, and overconfidence can create enormous bubbles. But when they burst, the consequences are felt for generations. Here at home, price cuts are becoming common, almost routine. In cities that once bragged about the rising values, Denver, Phoenix, Raleigh, Tampa, Dallas, Nashville, homes are sitting longer. Sellers are cutting prices and buyers are holding back. I have friends who listed their family home after living in it for 4 years and they couldn't sell it in the summertime. And so now, rather than moving to where they wanted to move, they move back in their home because they can't afford 2 mortgages. This is not uncommon all across the nation. Pandemic-era optimism is fading. People who bought at the peak are suddenly underwater, faced with mortgages larger than the market will bear. It's not just numbers on a chart. There's a human story here. People struggling to make payments, families moving further from jobs and schools just to find affordable housing, entire neighborhoods quietly shifting as homes that were once symbols of wealth now sit idle, waiting for buyers who may never come. The question isn't whether the markets will correct, it's how far can it fall before the weight of overpricing, debt, and economic strain finally forces a reckoning. We're watching a system that has been propped up by speculation, cheap debt, and global money flows slowly unravel. And when it does, the consequences will ripple far beyond individual homebuyers. The cultural, social, and economic fallout could be profound. What's most unsettling is how quietly this is happening. Unlike the headlines during the pandemic, there are no flashing alerts, no urgent warnings, just YouTubers. The changes are incremental, subtle, almost invisible until suddenly the scale of the shift is undeniable. It's happening in plain sight, but few are connecting the dots. The story of the housing market right now is a story of imbalance. Affordability is crumbling, inventory is rising, people are paying far more than they earn to live in homes they can barely afford. In some areas, mortgage payments exceed half a household's income. Historically, these levels have only been reached in the moments before dramatic correction. And yet, life goes on as if nothing has changed. It's almost as if the country is so worn out from all of the back-to-back calamities, all of the back-to-back manipulation of the markets by the elites, that we have just become desensitized to this and realize that we just have to deal with it as it comes. You guys, we're witnessing more than a market shift. We're seeing a reflection of broader economic vulnerabilities, how global capital, government policy, and human psychology interact to create bubbles, and how those bubbles eventually burst. The question isn't whether there will be a fallout, it's whether we will notice it in time, whether we'll understand the patterns, and whether we can prepare for the consequences before they ripple outward, touching every aspect of life. Across the globe, the lesson is the same. Housing markets are not invincible. They're fragile systems built on trust, speculation, and human desire. When those systems are stretched too far, when prices rise faster than reality can support, the inevitable recalibration begins. And right now, that recalibration is happening quietly, steadily, and for millions of people, almost imperceptibly. This is the housing market in 2025. a story of imbalance, of subtle collapse, and of human costs hidden behind the numbers. And while the headlines may not capture it yet, the data, the trends, the stories on the ground all point to one truth: a shift is underway, and it's bigger than anyone expected. Again, if you guys want to take advantage of this market or any other market, please subscribe to the Deal Watch. The newsletter link is down in the description below. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.